Hi, I'm Karen.
And I'm Elise,
Welcome back to Poodle People,
where we talk about all things poodles. Just a friendly reminder that we're not licensed veterinarians, professionals, or handlers. We're just poodle people.
Hey, Elise.
Hey, Karen. How's it going?
It's great. How about you?
Peachy keen. What's going
Sweet.
on?
Well, Lulu, who used to be called Ursula, has gone to her new home.
Oh, very exciting.
It was really quite sad. I got very attached to her at the end, but I'm really excited about the family that she's gone to. I think she's going to have a ton of fun playing with a bunch of kids and a big yard, and she'll have a really active lifestyle, which will suit her.
Oh, that sounds like the dream team right there. That's awesome, Karen. I'm so happy
Yeah.
for you and Lulu. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. She was a sweetie.
Yeah. Did the kids come with their mom to come pick her up to meet her, or did the mom surprise them with this puppy?
No, yeah, I got to meet them.
Oh,
They
cool.
they had named her Lulu because I had been calling her Ursula when I was thinking about keeping her. So I had switched and started calling her Lulu. And I knew that the kids were really excited about getting home from vacation and picking her up. And they had already gotten her toys and stuff and her new family to play together and really just settle in.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for them. Kids and puppies go together like PB&J. That is awesome.
Yeah, I think she'll be a blast.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Especially like when you were describing her, kind of growing up a little bit, she seems like a bit of a fireball, and I feel like they'll be fun. Those kids sound like they're in for it, and they're gonna have a great time.
Yes, she is tons of energy and really on the go. And I was surprised how attached I got to her. But it really just, you keep them for so long and you love them. And sometimes it gets a little bit tougher to let them go.
Yeah. Well, and you spend time like teaching them new life skills, so you get to see them kind
Yeah.
of click with stuff. I know, like with the potty training, I know that's a really big one with puppies
Yeah.
at this age. So, when they're finally starting to understand, like, oh yeah, we go outside, you're like, oh yes, sweet relief.
Yeah.
Clean the floors again. It's gonna be great.
and she was really when the house got quieter as puppies were leaving, she was able to spend more time with me and was turning into a true love. the the day that she left, I gave her a bath and groomed her, and while I was drying her, she just sat there with her head on my shoulder. It was so sweet.
That is so cute.
It was just darling. And I was like, oh, and you're leaving today, little girl. Don't do this to me.
Oh, that's man, that's really hard. I'm sorry, but also excited for you. I don't know. That is the definition of bittersweet. I think it is such a mixed emotion. Well, that's awesome.
So what's been going on with you?
As per usual, not a whole lot. We've been kind of busy just doing life stuff. Winnie went up to Carl's family has a cabin about an hour and a half from here, so Winnie got to go up there for the afternoon last Friday and run around and do what dogs do, play in the dirt. And we kind of spent the whole weekend with his family. We went over to his mom's house, and she got to run around and play with her Great Dane friend for a couple of days. And this week was Halloween, so we went over there just to hang out, help pass out candy, and she had a great big time barking at trick-or-treaters from the inside of the house.
I bet.
With her 150-pound like little friend over here that also barks at everything. So, those two, they're kind of self-riling, and then they just egg each other on. So it is amusing for about 5 seconds, and then you can't get them to shut up. So it turns into kind of a whole screaming match with everybody, dogs and people, trying to get a hold of the whole situation. But The weather's cooling off here, finally. It's been in the 80s, which I feel like for the rest of the country is they're thinking like, oh, it's paradise. But keep in mind, we were in the middle triple digits all summer, so this is our sweet reward for that.
Yep.
But it's starting to get but it's still daylight from like a good chunk of the day right now, and it's definitely starting to get a lot cooler and stay cooler for longer, especially in the mornings and in the evenings. So we'll be able to start hiking. The kind of late fall, winter is like when dog sports kind of revive themselves in the Southwest, just because you're not gonna have a heat stroke from walking from the house to the car. But so we'll be doing some fast cats and stuff, and really trying to get kind of back out there, and not have to just sit inside or at the pool, which I know people say like, oh, you spend all your time at the pool, but sometimes you would just like to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It would be nice. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll probably head up north to that cabin I mentioned earlier. Now that the seasons have kind of changed and it snows up there in the wintertime, so we try to spend like one snowy weekend up there if we can catch it just right. So if that happens, we'll definitely try to do that. Winnie loves the snow. She likes to be cool, and she likes the dark. Like she's into the wintertime thing. But yeah, so that's kind of what we've got going on. Not a whole lot, but good things on the horizon. Good things to look forward to. It'll be nice.
Well, we've got some really good guests, so let's get on into it. So tonight our guests are Angel Carmona and Sydney Abel. Lauren Pardo had planned to join us, but was unable. So Sydney will be filling in a little bit about our topic tonight, which is service dog training. Sydney, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about you and your background with dogs?
Yeah, so my name is Sydney. I'm in Arizona. I've been looking to get a service dog for probably about 5 years. I have an autonomic condition that causes me to faint. So like a service dog for me would help like be able to alert to those episodes as well as help when those episodes are happening. So I met Lauren through the service dog community. Many of my friends have dogs. Kind of have always been around service dogs in general. But this year, I was supposed to receive a service dog. Long story short, the company I was supposed to go with ended up being fraudulent. So I really lost hope in my search for a service dog. But luckily through Lauren Watch Corner, I was able to continue my journey, and now we are raising a dog named Tank. He's being raised by Lauren Pardo in Orlando, Florida. Since I'm in Arizona, I frequently visit them, and then he'll be moving in with us in Arizona when he is fully trained at about 1.5 to 2 years old.
Okay, fantastic. So Angel, you and I know each other from your interest and reaching out to me on social media. And
Yes.
I got to meet you at a dog show earlier this year.
Yes.
Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your dog experience?
Yes. So my name is Angel. And so for the last 5 years, I've been training German Shepherds. And they are very high drive German Shepherds. And you have no idea how high drive they are. And so we do a lot of sports. We do dock diving. We've done fast cat. We do some rally. We mostly stay within the AKC obedience type stuff. But for the last 4 years, I've had some medical issues pop up. And so I've not really had a diagnosis for POTS yet, but it's on its way. And so I have a really rapid heart rate. So I'm hoping that Mr. Link that I got from you will be able to alert me when I have those episodes.
Okay, awesome. And just because I think it's super cool, do you want to talk about the other animal that you have?
Which ones? I have a lot.
Cats.
Oh, yes. I also I also breed Maine Coons.
Oh,
And they are the absolute best cat in the cat world. They're kind of like a poodle. They like to cuddle,
Oh.
and they don't meow. They chirp, and they're ginormous.
they are ginormous.
They are very ginormous, but they have the sweetest personality that I've ever met in a cat breed. So, but I started breeding about 4 years ago, and I love it.
And you bathe the cats every week, right?
Um, I used to,
Okay,
but I don't anymore just because of my health issues.
gotcha.
So, yeah, they do it. I usually try to do it at least once a month. And so it just really depends on who's dirty and who's not, and who needs it and who don't.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, my kittens, like whenever I raise the kittens in my home and before they go home, now they will get the bath once a week. And I groom them, and they get, familiar with all the noises and home situations that they would need when they go to their new homes.
And
Wow.
I know we're a little bit off topic from service dogs, but I think this is kind of fascinating. So how similar is it to what you do with Link?
So it's actually pretty similar.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Their coat texture is almost kind of the same, like that cottony,
Yeah.
especially with his puppy coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are very, very easily to mat, and they usually mat like behind the ears, under their armpits, and the places that move. So
Mhm.
you just have to groom them, like they have to be brushed at least once a week or twice a week. And I tell everybody just do it every day and get in a habit of doing it, because you fall off the rocker and you have a matted cat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
their skin is also very, very thin. So if you accidentally clip them or cut them, then you're basically just slicing their skin open.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's just, might as well just go ahead and just get them used to being brushed and save everybody all the
Yeah.
hassle.
All the
So-
trauma that comes with
Yes.
it.
Yes.
With a surprise cat bath.
Cats are not dogs.
No.
But Maine Coons do tolerate water pretty well. Like I can lay them on their back in the sink and they just lay there and just tolerate it.
Wow. I can't even do that with my dog. Good for you.
It's
My
pretty
water dog is not much of a water dog when it comes to bath time. That's really cool. Wow.
So Sydney, I'm dying to hear about your visit with Tank. So you just went to Florida to see him for the first time. So can you tell us a little bit about it, and also, any of the things you were working on, even though it's pretty early, did you start any kind of training?
Yeah, so I got to meet Tank, and he is by far one of the sweetest dogs I've ever met. Like the second I met him, we picked him up, and he just like put his arms around my neck, and I was like, "This is the cutest dog I've ever met." And so I spent the week in Florida with Lauren Pardo, and right now Tank's mostly working on like exposure training. So
Mhm.
since he's a puppy, he's just trying to get all the sights and sounds, and since my husband and I, we live a really active lifestyle, like at theme parks and traveling and restaurants. Lauren is really making sure to bring him to all those places while he's still in that like socialization period.
Yep.
So we went to restaurants. We went to Universal Studios. He, of course, gets pushed around in a little stroller because he hasn't gotten all of his shots done yet. But he's amazing. Like we would go on these boat tours and he just sits there just looking around, curious, but not at all like fearful or anything like that. We went to Disney World, and we went on the Skyliner, which is like these gondolas that go over all the resorts, and he's just excited to be there. It's just
wow.
amazing to see it, just so young.
Wow.
But most of his training right now is just getting him comfortable in all these different environments.
I have to say, of course, I bred Tank. Tank never had a day of fear or worry. He basically came out and he was like, bring it on. Bring on the world. Let me
Lauren
see.
was sending me videos of him just like in front of a leaf blower, and he was just like just looking at it, and I was like, "What puppy? What puppy?" He's like, "Okay, that's fine."
Yeah,
Not mine.
he was really extraordinary from the beginning. The
That's
first
awesome.
to do everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And such a happy attitude.
Yeah.
All of the puppies were really different, but Tank was, you know, to me, he always seemed like he would be a service dog.
Mm-hmm. I just keep joking that like this dog is 13 weeks old, or now he's 14 weeks. I'm like, why does he already have like the attitude of like a fully grown service dog? He's already gotten like the pose of it down.
He really is confident. I follow both of you guys on Instagram. I'd be creeping. And Karen told me y'all's handles, and I'm like, I gotta find out what this is gonna turn out like. I need to know what happens.
Yeah.
But I saw like the pictures and stuff of Tank at Disney, and he really looked like he was having the best time ever.
It's just funny because all the workers are like, we're like, oh, please pet him, because that's part of like their socialization. We want him to not be fearful of anyone, so we try to get like tall guys, short guys, women, like anyone, just so that like he gets used to it. And they're always like, oh, I'm allowed to pet him, like, because they assume he's like a fully trained dog.
Right.
No, it's good to pet him.
Like, wouldn't that be nice?
Great.
Gosh, with all the characters and stuff too, I gotta imagine that's probably some pretty great exposure.
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
already
environmental
met Pluto.
training. Oh,
Pluto, it was really cute. Yeah, Pluto ran up to him, and he was sniffing his nose, and he like licked his face. It was really cute.
oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
So, Angel, what kind of training are you doing with Link right now?
So, pretty much the same thing that she said, just socialization. Just get him out to let him hear sounds, smells, be around people. We go to like the local pet store. Lowe's is our big one.
Yep.
And he rides in the buggies, and he could care less about anything around him. And he just sits there like a little man and watches everything. There was one day they had a stack of wood stacked up.
I love that picture. I love that picture.
And so it was like a confidence thing. It was very unstable. It wasn't going to fall or anything, but like when he moved, it kind of wiggled with him. And at first, he was like very unsure. But by the end of it, he was pretty much running across of it to get to the food and to me. So we just do little things that, it's more confidence building, reassurance to let him know it's okay. He is the baby, so he goes with me when I pick the kids up in the afternoons, and we sit in the car, and he snuggles me the whole time. And it's like for 3 hours that I'm sitting in the car.
That's so cute.
And I was telling my husband, I don't know what I'm going to do when he's like 70 pounds, because he's probably not going to fit here. So I may have to invest in a bigger vehicle to put him in so we can snuggle.
Aww.
But he is definitely the sweetest puppy I've ever seen in my life.
He was really a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Is he still a little bit on the smaller side, or has he gained a ton of weight?
So he's grown a lot since I've picked him up. I can't remember right off the top of my head what his last weight was. I think he had gained like 2 or 3 pounds, but he's starting to pick it up.
Yeah.
So he's getting heavy.
It'll be interesting to see what size these puppies are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of tasks will the puppies how will they be trained to alert? Is it kind of like diabetes where they can smell something?
Yeah, the scent. Your body produces a scent in your glands. You can do like your mouth, the back of your knees, the creases of your arms, and places like that. And then you can actually like freeze the cotton balls
Mm-hmm.
and soak them in like your sweat. And I think you can freeze them up for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just train them, you know, just let them smell it and reward and build up to that. And then eventually they should start alerting.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wondered how that worked because I mean I follow other service dog teams on the internet too. I spend all my time on the internet apparently, but I see that like oh they alerted here at Walmart or whatever. And I'm like how do they teach them to do that? Like I know poodles are smart and dogs are smart. I know like there's a whole thing with like the Fab4, but I never quite understood like the method behind like this is what
Yeah.
you're looking for. But that's really cool.
So it's basically like with my German Shepherds, like we train them to track. So you start with like the basics. So for them, we would make like a scent box on the
Mhm.
ground and put
Okay.
food in it and then build them up from there. So it's basically the same with, when you're training them for like your glucose or heart rate or anything like that. You just start at the basics and then build up from that.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, that makes way more sense because I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so are you taking samples like on like a baseline when you feel good, and then you take one when you're maybe having like a not so great time,
You'll
and
do
then
it
you
more when it's not so great.
okay,
When it's a higher, you'll want them. So like for me, I would want my heart rate to be probably like 120,
okay,
and so that's probably where I would start. And then obviously, it goes higher than that, but I would want him to start alerting me when it starts to get up to 120, so that way I know that I'm aware that it's rising and I can get to a safe place or sit down or something like that.
okay,
Gotcha.
got it. That makes okay. I'm glad somebody explained that because I've always wanted to know. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Will you be training them for other tasks too, like mobility and things like that?
Yes. So once he is older, we won't do mobility until he's at least 2, and make
Mhm.
sure that his growth plates are closed. But when you have POTS, you're kind of unstable, so the mobility kind of plays hand in hand with that. Deep pressure therapy is another one. Um, so it will help, like if he's laying across my lap, it will help the circulation go, like the blood flow in my legs to get back up to my heart. So he'll do deep pressure therapy. And we're going to do, like, if we're in a store and he needs to get me outside to like an exit or something, that's a task that we'll learn eventually. And
Okay.
so we can get out as quick as possible, like if I need air or, a get away from public. Because I also have anxiety, and that plays a part with all the other symptoms that I
I,
have.
I feel
Right.
that.
Yeah.
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 So all of the things that normal people, I don't even know what normal people are anymore. But in my
Fair.
normal, to see that we, with the anxiety, I try to keep my distance from people and stuff. And so with him, it kind of helps to build, that distance from people, I guess you could
Mhm.
say.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So Tank's going to be trained in similar tasks, as I do have a similar condition to Potts. But he'll be like mostly doing like fall response, fainting response. So I know Lauren is going to work with him to be able to do like deep pressure therapy, but also be able to like go under my legs to elevate them.
yes.
Ooh.
And then also retrievals are super important because I have
Yeah.
difficulty bending down.
Yeah.
He'll be able to alert my husband, like if I need help, he'll be able to get my husband. Just all those things are kind of amazing that these dogs are able to do
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
little-
helpful for the day-to-day life too, for, like you said, it's our similar things, so that helps.
Yeah.
Like a little medical assistant. That's cute.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys. That's awesome. That's gonna hopefully work out for you. That's great. That's really cool.
So, Sydney, I know you have a plan with Lauren. Angel, do you have an idea of how long it will take?
So like she said earlier, a year and a half to 2 years.
Okay. So you're
It's,
on
I mean,
a similar
they're
time.
always training. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So, you, so with me and Link, I'll probably do like his CGC and stuff like that for like a baseline since
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all of his training myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so once he passes like my expectations, then I can start, saying that he's an actual service dog and not a service dog in training. But until those expectations are met, he'll be a service dog in training.
Right.
Okay.
So
That's pretty neat.
Sydney, what are your plans? How soon will you see Tank again?
So I'm hoping to see him again in but if that doesn't happen, I'm hoping January. So I'm hoping to see him every 2 months or so, just so I'm
Okay.
not a stranger.
Yeah.
But when he is at that like year and a half to 2 week mark, 2 year mark, Lauren's gonna come down to Arizona with him and spend about 2 weeks so he can get acclimated to our lifestyle, to our home, all of that. So he'll be more into our lifestyle by the time that she heads back to Florida.
Okay, cool.
Sydney, I have a follow-up question on that. So, like, in that 2 week stay, is it? I know I've never done like a board and train type of thing, but this sounds kind of similar-ish to how that works. So, is she staying there to kind of show you like how Tank works and how you work to Tank kind of thing, just to bridge the gap between the two of you?
Yeah, since like I'm not a dog trainer, I'm gonna need training as well.
Yeah,
So
fair.
she's gonna help with that, but also just to like we have cats, and right now, Tank is being raised around cats, but it's gonna be more of a thing like getting our cats acclimated to him, and vice
Yeah.
versa. Also, like
Yeah.
with our workplaces and places like that I frequent, it'll be nice to have for him to have a familiar face to kind of guide him through his new life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that both of you have thought this out so far. I mean, you have to have a relatively long time frame
yeah,
for this kind of training. It's not like a 6-week CGC and you're done.
no.
No. I have been kind of sitting here amusing myself with the idea that I've been getting deep pressure therapy from my dogs for years without knowing it. So it was just a benefit.
It's the best feeling in the world.
It is.
Who needs weighted blankets when you have a 50-pound hairball that loves you
Yes,
back? I mean,
exactly.
It's so nice. It's warm, it's comfy, it's cute. I mean, come on. What's better? Well, cool.
Yeah. Well, I really want to thank both of you for coming on, and I'm sorry we didn't also get Lauren this time, but we're hoping we can make this a regular thing so that we get updates pretty regularly about the progress of both of the dogs.
I'm game.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We know it's,
Yeah.
I mean, between the time zones and everything, I'm actually glad I wasn't the only one that was 3 hours behind everybody else. So thank you, Sydney. I appreciate you. It's almost always me that's like, wait, hang on, I don't get off work till this time, or hold on 1 second. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
for
really
having us.
exciting to hear.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thanks for listening, and remember, a poodle will change your life. If you'd like to get in touch with either me or Elise, or if you have questions you'd like answered during the podcast, email poodlepeoplepodcast@gmail.com. And if you have questions or want to be put on my wait list for puppies, please visit my website at scotchcornerstandardpoodles.com.